Welcome to the Warner Brothers Lot. I'm Jonathon Buckley, and this is A Lot More. We're super excited to have the comedy genius of Steve Carell gracing our television screens once again. The new series Rooster will be airing on HBO Max, and with the cast and crew out on their press run, we thought we'd jump in for a little chat. Joining us now are the co-creators of Rooster, Bill Lawrence and Matt Tarsus. How much fun are you having today on your press junket?
So much fun.
You don't sound enthusiastic. We're having a good time.
No, we are.
So far, people being very nice about the show.
They're liking the show, which is all we need.
I feel like you guys spend a lot of time together.
Too much.
A little bit.
It's okay. I'm not going to look at him. I'll criticize some of his answers, but even eye contact, my face shows that I'm over
it. How does it feel right now? I always think of this when you have a show coming out. You're very experienced, obviously. You've created tons of television, but you're approaching opening night as we record this. It's a few days before the curtain's lifted. What's the sense right now? How do you feel?
Look, this is going to sound like a bunch of BS, but I think it's true, and maybe Matt will have a different answer. But I used to want to call my production company Noble Failure Productions because I felt like if I could make something that I could show my friends and family without being horrified, you know what I mean, that was the win. Everything else is out of your control. So as far as a Noble Failure production goes, we already nailed it. I showed this to my wife and kids, and they weren't embarrassed by me. So a huge win.
Wow. It's a very low bar, we say. Yeah.
Well, I've been very fortunate to have a sneak peek. I've gotten to see the first 5 episodes. I was watching it on a train from New York to Boston, and
that's how we wanted it to be watched. It was something that was really important to us.
But let me tell you, I no joke. I don't know that I've burst out laughing so loud in a public place as much as I have during the viewing of this series. How would you explain it to somebody at a dinner party now? If you just wanted to say, hey, I want you to watch Rooster, this is what it is.
First of all, thank you, because it's super nice to hear stuff like that. And at a dinner party, Matt wouldn't explain it because he'd be too shy about it, but I would be talking constantly about it. So we'll do that dynamic. We would start by saying it's a comedy. As two comedy writers, comedies are few and far between right now. And we definitely wanted to write a show that had some pathos and emotional depth. But one of the things that we talked to Steve about at the beginning was it being real comedy forward, and joke forward and hopefully being funny. Matt and I, as writers, are only good about writing things that we know a little bit. And where Steve, Matt, and I all connected at the beginning was we all have daughters that are no longer young women. I mean, no longer young girls, and they're young women. And trying to stay involved in their life and be intrusive and keep them from getting hurt is something that each of us is struggling with. And we all have to face the realization that it's not really about them and it's about us and trying to figure out who you're supposed to be once you reach that stage in life that you might not be as needed as a dad, and you have to figure out who you're going to be. And it takes place in kind of a fishbowl college setting
because we all have these kind of close connections to these small liberal arts colleges where we all went. And, my parents live in this little town called Williamstown, where there's a school called Williams College in northwestern Massachusetts. And I went to college there, and it's this tiny little fishbowl of a place. And it felt like a perfect place to drop a guy who had never been in college, a guy like Steve Carell, who is can play uncomfortable better than anybody
in the world,
into that place because his daughter's having this kind of marital crisis, and watch how he navigates that kind of new terrain.
That wasn't bad. I mean, that probably wouldn't fit on a T-shirt, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
And then at the dinner party, someone would say, like, are you going to give someone else a chance to talk? And I'd say, let me tell you about the other characters. That's how it worked.
Was it a collaboration with Steve from the beginning? You knew straight away that Steve was the guy to work with?
Yeah, Matt and I started from a place. We've known each other forever. He worked on the original Scrubs. He was one of the original writers, and we've been friends since then. And we did this show for Warner Brothers called Bad Monkey together. And Matt and I wanted to create a show together. And Steve was like the idea. So it started from sitting down with Steve and talking about what's a story that we all want to tell. And even to get more specific than that, Matt's daughter just graduated from Brown as a young actress, and she plays one of the students on the show. Steve's daughter just graduated from Northwestern. My daughter is out in the world as a musician. And we're all kind of trying to navigate this currently. So when we just started shooting the shit about it, it kind of became the core of what the show is.
And taking place at the university, you mentioned that you'd all been to college. How much fun is it kind of revisiting those years, thinking back to all of those reference points? I don't know that I've seen Edward Forty Hands referenced on I cheer.
That's from our generation more than this generation, but we don't care. It was funny. It was part of our life.
It was a lot of fun to go back. And I mean, that's a very fond time, I think, in our lives, because there's things you forget. And if you really put your mind to it, you start to think back on all these experiences that were.
Why are they all so hazy, you think?
But, I fell down a hill in front of a giant group of people once, and it was fun to, try to put that in the show. Bill, a story from Bill's fraternity life has a real prominent presence in the show. It's a fun.
Look, we also, it's really weird because there's a spotlight on college now. My kids and their friends don't all know whether or not they necessarily need college, And so maybe this is a nostalgic thing to remember, or maybe it's kind of a hopeful optimism. I couldn't fill a notebook page with what I learned in college academically, but I grew up and matured and found a community and figured out who I wanted to be. And for us, talking about, wouldn't it be interesting to show kids going through that at the same time Steve Carell was going through that, and watching them all kind of navigate that together is pretty fun.
There's so much heart to the show, and there's so much seriousness as well. And then you kind of burst into these hugely comedic moments. Is it a tricky balancing act, like going from serious to funny?
It's a great question, man, because we call it. Matt's going to get annoyed because I used to call it this back in Scrubs days, but we call it like a tonal tightrope. Yep. Because if you screw up and it's too silly and doesn't feel authentic, then you can't veer into moments of emotional depth and pathos and have people follow along and care. And if it's like too hardcore drama and you're just pounding people, with grief or depression, it's really hard to switch gears and suddenly be light and funny. You can only pull it off if you have, especially somebody at the top setting the tone. And for us,
that was Steve. Yeah, we were the tone is, the trickiest thing to, navigate in this kind of show. And our goal, I think, going into this was to make this a comedy forward show and to make sure that we were always getting laughs, because that's what we like to watch. We always tend to end up having heart moments in our shows for whatever reason. But Steve Steve is just such a special performer that we would write these things that were really funny to us, and he would say, I have a funny version of this that doesn't quite go to that broad place. And I think when we look back on them now, because sometimes we'd be frustrated, we look back on them now and all of his decisions were right. He was sort of this, he was really protecting the tone. Even
if you had to rank who was right the most, it would probably be Steve, then me, then you would be last.
As long as Steve is above you, I'm fine.
It seems like you guys gel pretty well, though. Like, when it comes to comedy, how important is being on the same wavelength in a weird way?
Oh, if you're working with actors, actresses, or other writers or a partner that you can't make laugh or doesn't make you laugh, you're doomed, man. Yeah. Look, we're dinosaurs, all right? Matt is very boyish looking, so he looks young, and I have bangs so that people think I'm under 50. But, everybody thinks I'm under 50. So look, when we started out, Matt worked on The Fresh Prince. This is his first show.
I'm old.
And I was only a kid then.
He was also on a show at that time, by the
way. But I remember old days on multi-camera sitcoms when you would make sure that there was like 8, 9, 10 jokes a page, and you're just throwing them out there and stuff. It is not telling any secrets to say the writer's room, we all crack each other up. Matt makes me laugh more than anybody. And these actors and actresses are so skilled that they take our material and they'll change lines, they'll make them funnier. And instead of, being competitive or married to the words, if someone's like, oh, I really liked that joke and we had nothing to do with it, we're both just like, thank you. It's the best thing in the world, man.
What do you hope that audiences take away from this first episode that's about to air?
I'm so grateful in this ridiculously crowded landscape that anybody watches anything. You know what I mean? My time's at a premium. I love TV. I love it. And I'm really selective about what I watch. Shout out to Warner Brothers because I'm the biggest shill for The Pit right now. I watch it. I think it's the best show on television. Blows my doors off.
Yeah.
So look, if we were lucky enough to write a show that people want to check out the second and third episode, I'm going to be really grateful.
I think you've done a very good job of that. I've, like I said, seen the first 5 and I can't wait to watch the rest of it. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being so kind, man. It's always fun to talk to you.
Great to chat. All right, joining us now is John C. McGinley, who plays Dean Walter Mann, and Lawrence Tsai, who plays Sonny Saluski. Thank you for taking the time to have a chat. This must be an exciting time for you as you gear up for the premiere.
It's always fun and not heavy lifting when what you're talking about feels exquisite. And that's the way Rooster feels.
Do you remember the initial conversations when you were, I guess, approached, both of you, to come on board?
Well, here's a more interesting story, but I came in for the audition at Warner Brothers, and Allison Jones called me in, and it went well. And I read the pilot, and I thought this is just such an incredible project. And when I got the job, I was in complete shock. I was in Montana, and I was jumping up and down for a couple of minutes. Actually, I was really, really surprised that I got it.
Wow! So it's more of a just traditional, just call-in audition type.
Bill Lawrence and Matty Tarsis told me that every actor in Los Angeles and New York came in for the role of Sonny, and Lauren nailed it. So she's diminishing how huge that was. Everyone came in for it.
Do you remember, Lauren? Do you remember your first sort of gut reaction in reading the character?
Well, I actually thought she was quite similar to one of my sisters. So I did channel one of my sisters, whether or not she knows that.
She will when she sees it.
Yes, if she may know this now, but because she's very smart and she's very analytical, and she can be very, very. She's also very caring and very warm, and is good at hiding that sometimes. But I felt like, I'm from Massachusetts, and this is a character that, she's from Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, which is different, but in Massachusetts, it's very buttoned up. It's a Massachusetts college, and I felt like, I know what this is like. Like, I know how to.
Did you go to college in Massachusetts?
I did not, but I went to boarding school in Massachusetts for a little bit. So that is, similar enough.
Yeah. Well, your character is it's actually it's very complex characters. I mean, there's a lot of complex characters in the series, but yours is very complex because you have a lot of weight and a lot of seriousness, but you have a lot of quirkiness to you as well. Was it difficult to craft that character, or did it come pretty simply?
It was difficult to figure out where she should be, where she should be guarded, and in what way that would show up, and then in what ways those walls would start to come down, or the little bits of how she wants to care, or how she feels lonely, or how she feels hurt by things should start to leak in. Yeah, it was really, really fun to craft her, and I felt like as the episodes kept coming in, it was like digging it up piece by piece. So I hope people watch to see where she ends up at the end of the season.
I'm a few episodes deep, and I'm curious to see where you go.
But also what Lauren was able to do, and what makes her a wizard, is that she found a way to amalgamate humility with dignity. Because what her character is going through is humbling, but Lauren chose to craft it with dignity. And as you watch the show, you'll certainly see what I mean. But it really is a magic act that the actor came up with. It wasn't necessarily on the page, but that's who Lauren brought to the lens, and it's the stuff of wizards.
You've had a couple of nice scenes together so far, as I've seen. Is it fun working opposite one another? Have you learned anything from one another? It's
great to be with Lauren because she's extremely present. And what do I mean? At one point, I heard Lauren say that right before action, she likes to get to zero. She likes to get to completely being available, or just to nothingness. And that's hard for actors because we're so preoccupied with so many things. And when I heard you say that, I see it when we're in the scenes together. And I think the effect it has, the way it impacts me, is it redoubles my commitment to being present so we can have this exchange together and be as close to what we are trying to say as possible. And that takes the load off the actors and the burden of the scene. And that's what Lauren brings to the frame.
That's a Really nice answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very, thank you for that.
I'm telling the truth.
It's just been such an incredible honor to get to work together on anything. And I feel like I've not only been able to witness such a legendary and incredible actor at work, but also have the benefit of having someone to teach and mentor and and help guide me. And that's been incredibly helpful because I think it's not always easy to know perhaps when to step in or when someone might want help
100%.
or not want help. But I feel like your confidence and being able to know when and just intuitively pick up when I need
Right on.
a little bit of motivation has been incredibly helpful for me. And that kind of confidence makes me feel a lot more confident.
It shows in the
too,
lens. The lens absolutely just devours you.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, absolutely amazing experience. I'm so
That's
so
wonderful.
grateful.
I get the sense that there's a lot of warmth between you two. Is that kind of the feeling on set as well on Rooster?
Bill Lawrence, his hero is a filmmaker, probably one of the great filmmakers in my generation, named Mike Nichols. And Mike had a no asshole policy on his sets. And it is what it sounds like. And Bill adopted that on Scrubs. And all it does is advocate for kindness on the set, because we're all going to be right next to each other and we're going to be a 14 or 15-hour day. And being unkind is the wrong way to go. And Billy doesn't tolerate it. And so what happens on Bill's sets is a loveliness is allowed to grow and we can treat each other with respect, which should be second nature. But because stress impacts people in different ways, and at least I can speak for men function from fear and inadequacy in unflattering and unacceptable ways. And so with that mitigated, with a no asshole policy, people are allowed to present to each other in damaged ways because we are damaged. And all of a sudden, I see that my damages impact Lauren, the actor, in a way that it's okay. Yeah, I'm fucking flawed. And Lauren's like, that's okay. We're going to do, I got you.
Yeah.
And it's reciprocal. And that's all because of the landscape that Billy has seeded.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are a master of your craft when it comes to comedy, John. And in this series, have you had to approach it somewhat differently? Because there's so much heart in this series as well, interspersed with moments of huge laugh out loud moments. Is it a different sort of approach for you for this one?
It's a very different approach because when Bill Lawrence told me about this in the sauna at my house, which is called the Hot House, which was the genesis of the Hot House in the show.
I love that.
Bill said, I want to steal your life.
Wow.
Direct quote. And I didn't, of course, have any idea or nor would be presumptuous to know what Billy was talking about. And what he was talking about is creating this character based on you.
Yep.
And so that's an ass backwards way to go into creating a character, since actors are wont to come up with eccentricities and regional accents and some kind of tick that we can hide behind. Because there's security there. There's a place to retreat to. So you can see the character, but you can't really see me. And so this was a very different way to approach something. And Billy kept writing to John McGinley, not to Walt Mann, which is the name of the character. And so that was a big deal. And it was a totally a different approach to sliding into a narrative.
Did you introduce the let's say the extra skin to the series yourself? You're showing a lot of skin in this show.
Because I took Billy and Zach Braff through the Hot House and the ICE protocol. Billy writes from familiarity.
Yep.
And so in other words, the uber theme of this is a father-daughter relationship. Well, his relationship with his daughter, Charlotte, who's one of the great people on the planet, is something that he can write from. That's a source of familiarity. And the connective tissue is there. One summer, I put Billy through the heat and the ice 3 times a week because he was only 100 yards away in a house that he was renting. And Billy wrote the president of the university from that location.
John, Lauren, congratulations on the show. Can't wait to see many more episodes, and hopefully this goes on for a long time. It's a huge success for both of you.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys are jazzed. Danielle Deadweiler, Phil Dunster, two of the main characters in the ensemble cast of Rooster. I'm so glad to chat to you. I've had fun admiring your craft for the last few days. It's been wonderful watching the Rooster. Are you excited?
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yes.
I'm very, very proud of it to be a part of it.
Has it been a part of your life for a long time or a short time? How long has this been going on for both of you?
What year was it last year? 2025.
2025.
So yes, it was a long time. It was quite a while. The pieces were all coming together. Maybe since end of 2023 might have been the first time they spoke about. That might be wrong.
Did you not get in so early, Danielle?
Me? It was just last year.
It just it sometimes happens like that, doesn't it? Sometimes it just
like the top of the year.
We're just about, as we record this, about to see the first episode. It's about to be released to the public. Do you have high hopes for the series?
I bloody high hopes.
Bloody well.
Bloody high hopes, actually. Yeah. I think people will like it.
I think
I hope people like it.
yeah.
I'm sure they will. Yeah.
I like it. So they gonna like it. Like I feel great about what we've done, what we're trying to contribute. I don't know what the hell that is. Sometimes I know I can make some stuff up, but at the end of the day, coming together and learning and allowing oneself to be opened up and allowing oneself to receive and allowing oneself to share, allowing oneself to be challenged and allowing oneself to challenge. That's what an academic institution is. That's what some life shit is. That's all we try to do, is trying to bring it together.
You've done quite a bit of serious stuff in the past, but this is, it is a nice blend of seriousness and comedy as well, Danielle. Has it been challenging?
No, it's the delight. It's what you want. It's a good balance. Like I feel aligned in such a way, artistically and personally. Like my spine's doing good.
So it comes fairly easy?
I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's about easy. I think it's about constantly pushing, which I think Steve does and is a beautiful example in leadership of that. Someone who's constantly pushing to enhance, to stay connected to the group, to stay malleable, and to keep building and finding the thing.
I get the sense you're all having a good time on set.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Bill and Matt are doing what? Say it, Phil, what they're doing on set.
Oh, sorry. Okay, right.
Say it, Bill.
You want me to validate their presence?
Yes, to validate their presence. And how
they are very, 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 very good at their job and also very naughty. Mm-hmm. They're sat at the monitor, which obviously is the playback of what's going on in the scene.
Video Village.
Video Village. Yep. And there we are doing our scene, saying the words that's been written by Bill and Matt, and all these people are there, and you can just hear them giggling
in the middle of the scene.
You're like,
not at the end. In the middle of the scene,
we can't use this. This is madness.
They're like, I bet.
It's a sign of a very happy set where you have the people who are sort of at the crux of it, enjoying themselves just as much as anybody else. I think that's a very, very, very healthy sign of a set, and it meant that we were like, we're having a great time. Yeah. So it was over to them.
They're driving the plane. They landed. Oh, they're even cackling in the reading.
Yeah. Can you drive a plane? Or do you?
No.
I just want to be really clear about that.
No. Train? Yes.
Drive a train?
Plane? No.
Boat?
Let's go.
Danielle, could you explain a little bit for us, just a little bit about your character? So what makes Dylan Shepherd tick?
I think Dylan's trying to figure out her ticking as well. She is a poetry professor on campus who is deeply invested in her students, who drives herself professionally, but is potentially challenged personally by outside relationship dynamics. And when a certain figure comes to campus, that person further pushes her to question herself. In addition to being challenged by certain professional peers, and so she's being challenged personally and professionally to become something different, to be of greater leadership or influence in all of the ways. And she's ticking based on her ability to be so steadfast and yet driving towards, some new sense of self, a rupture of sorts.
Okay. And Phil, Archie Bates, complex character, bit of a prick in some ways. Does he have any redeeming qualities?
He's just a prick. No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I think his sense of self-worth he would put as a big tick.
Yep.
I think that his intellect is really impressive. He's a great communicator. He's a really good teacher. He also
well, he's got a good bum too, according to some of the students.
Thanks. Well, yes, he does. Yes. That's probably it, really, and that's probably his biggest asset is his asset.
Is his bum. Okay. Well, you've both had some absolutely hilarious scenes with Steve Carell throughout. Well, hilarious scenes, period. But particularly with Steve Carell, there's been some genuine, like, I've been sitting laughing out loud, which has been super enjoyable. Obviously, it's fun in those moments, but is it hard to keep it together when you're doing those scenes? What's the vibe like?
No, you better keep it together.
Yeah,
Steve has got it together.
You're the professional one. Of course I did.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh.
I was terrible.
Oh,
I was sat behind, so I was giving him an eyeline behind camera on one of our scenes. And I'm not on at all. And the etiquette is that you're there for the person because they're on screen. You need to give them everything. But he was doing bits. Yeah. And I was just like, I was a schoolboy. I was useless. I was giggling away. And I apologized afterwards. Oh, man, that's so pathetic of me. I'm so sorry. And he was like, no, I love it. And it's so lovely. Like, I think that he gets such a kick out of it. And I think that he seems like someone who is still there to have fun and learn and be curious. And you didn't have that.
He gets to do that because that's just different. There's a physicalness there, right? And Dylan's she's the adult in the room in a lot of ways. So she's straight-laced, kind of, but not.
Yes, but I would push back on that. Your scene outside your apartment in the beginning, and without any spoilers, was genuinely like really set the tone. I think for me, it's such a great scene. I was again another moment where I was just cracking up laughing
when he took me to the crib.
When you went back to your place. Without spoiling too much, and then rejected you twice. That was genuinely hilarious.
Why you had to say it like that?
I'm pretty sure that's how you said it.
You just had to say rejected. Rejected you
twice. Yeah, I really winced when he said it as well.
Yeah, he did. Twice. He's laid into it.
What are your hopes for the season moving forward? How do you hope that people receive Rooster?
I mean, I'd like to be surprised. I'm interested in seeing. I want to be refreshed by the current climate of and how different demographics take in the show. But at the same time, I think that I know what history has shown us that people are interested in shows about this kind of space, about college institutions, and that folks get encouraged to shift the world, to shift their own worlds when they come into these kinds of stories. How does this shift father-daughter dynamics? How does this influence students to go to school, or people who work in academic institutions? How do we build these spaces together further?
Well, Danielle, Phil, thanks for taking the time. I'm pretty sure you've got a bit of a hit on your hands here. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's received. Congratulations. And
thanks so much.
You, man. Thanks.
Thank
you.
you.
All the best. All the best. Yes.
See ya. Rooster airs 10 p.m. Eastern every Sunday on HBO Max. Go ahead and check it out.